Hello, we're going to take a look at Chapter 7, Section 1, which is Exploring Exponential Models. The first type of problem we're going to take a look at is asking us to find the y-intercept and whether the function is an exponential growth or decay one. So for this first example, we have y equals 12 times 0.95 to the x power. So to start off with, we could take a look at the graph. So if we go to y equals and type in this equation, 12 times parentheses 0.95 to the x power. Click graph. And notice we're going to want to adjust our windows. So if we go to standard, we can just start to see it. So we just need to go a little bit higher. So maybe go to Windows, and we need to adjust the Y maximum. So maybe go to 20 and count by twos. Alrighty, so the first part I wants to know the y-intercept, so we're counting by twos. So if we count up, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So the y-intercept would be 12. And then notice how it curves down, so it would be exponential decay. If it was curving up, then it would be an exponential growth. So for this one, we would say the y-intercept is 12, and it is an exponential decay. Now, another way that we can do this, notice this equation over here off to the right. If it's y equals a times b to the x power, if it is in this format, or a, whatever that first number is, that's not attached to the x power, that's going to be your y-intercept. This b that is attached to the x power, that is going to be in charge of growth or decay. If that number is greater than 1, it's going to be increasing or growth. If that number is between 0 and 1, it's going to be decay, decreasing. So for this one, this first number would be our y-intercept, which is 12, so it crossed at 12. And then this number is between 0 and 1, so it is decay or decreasing. So for number 2, if we didn't want to have to graph this on our graphing calculator, then we could look at this first number, 0.25, that would tell us that our y-intercept, and then this 2 is a number greater than 1, so it would be exponential growth, or it would be increasing if we graphed it. Now this third example, notice how it's just y equals 5 to the x power. So we could rewrite that as y equals 1 times 5 to the x power, be the exact same thing. So then if we rewrote it, that 1 is going to be our y-intercept, so it crosses at 1, and then that 5 is a number greater than 1, so it is growth, an exponential growth, or it's going to be increasing if you look at your graph. Now this next type of problem we're going to take a look at is some word problems. The equation just changes a little bit, so it's going to be y equals a, parentheses 1 plus or r, to the t power. Notice if it's an exponential growth, that should be a plus sign. If it's an exponential decay, so the problem should be decreasing, then that should be a minus sign right there. Our a is still our y-intercept, or our initial amount in terms of a word problem. Our r stands for rate, so that should be, we're looking for a percentage, so that we're going to change to a decimal, so moving the decimal to the right 2 places. And then our t is going to be time, which should be in terms of years. So if we look at this first word problem, we invested $1,000 at 5%, and how much money should we have after 6 years? So if we use this equation, our A, our initial amount we invested, was $1,000. Sorry, just a second. And then our rate, we look for our percentage. It's 5%, so we move that decimal back 2 places. So it'd be 0.05, and then our time is 6 years. So we put that in for our t. So then if we simplify this down and put it into our calculator, we have 1,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.05 and to the 6th power. I noticed it should be money, so we should round this to 2 decimal places, so we would have $1,340.10. So that is how much we would have in our bank account after 6 years. Notice we originally invested $1,000, so just off of interest we made $340.10. Now the second one, we invested $500 at a rate of 3.5, and we want to know how much we're going to have after 5 years. So if we take a look at this one, our initial amount, or A, would be 500, and then our percentage, we move that decimal back 2 places. So we have 0.035, and we want to know after 5 years, so we plug in a 5. So when we plug that into our calculator, we should get $593.84. Again, we originally invested $500, so the interest was $93.84 after those 5 years.